What's going on, everyone? Jack here from Half-Chrome, and today I want to talk about 10 tips to help make you a better pilot, or maybe just 10 tips to help avoid crashing your drone. Now, I've been flying drones for a while now, and I've come across quite a few things that people do. Now, not only do I fly drones, I also teach a class on how to fly drones and how to get certified to make money with a drone. So I've seen people make plenty of mistakes, whether you fly FPV quads like this guy or high-end camera photography drones like this DJI Air 3S. These tips apply to pretty much everything. So let's talk about 10 ways to make you a better pilot. Let's go. First thing you need to do is have a pre-flight checklist, a set of things that you do every time before you fly. And the first thing would be check batteries, right? Batteries, make sure that they're fully charged, make sure you have enough, make sure that they're in good shape. Don't fly with a puffy battery, right? Sometimes the batteries get a little extra large and they start to puff out of the packaging. Those batteries are no good. Take them to a place to have them disposed of. You can't just throw them in the garbage. The next thing you need to look at are these guys. These are your propellers, and if they're bent or damaged or nicked, that could be a problem. Now, get it up in the air and just kind of listen. If something sounds off, that's probably a propeller. That's when you know you need to change them. You also need to make sure that your controller and your phone are charged. If you use a phone as a screen, make sure you got enough battery on that thing, and then make sure that this guy is also charged. Now, these remotes generally will last a lot longer than your drone, so you don't have to charge them before every flight, but you do need to make sure that this thing is going to last for the entirety of your flight. Also, did you check your SD card? Does it have enough storage? Is it formatted properly? Make sure you check that before you take off. Is your lens dirty? Does it need to be cleaned? You don't want to get up there, take some awesome footage, and then get home and realize you got a smudge on the lens. That would ruin everything. Also, did you update your firmware? Is it the most current version? And do you know where you're flying? Did you check on the FAA's website or before you fly or AirMap or any of those different applications that let you know if you're flying in a controlled airspace? So step number one, make sure you have a great pre-flight checklist that you're going to go through every time before you fly. Batteries, props, super important. Don't forget those. And that kind of leads me into point number two, know where you're flying. Make sure you scout the area, you check it out online, make sure that you can fly there. Are there any trees? Are there any telephone poles? Are there any wires? Those are things you need to be aware of. Where will people be? How do you avoid them? And where's a good place to land if there's any sort of problem? Also note, are there a lot of houses around? Could there be Wi-Fi interference, right? If you're flying in neighborhoods, that's going to kind of cut down in your range and things like that. And then make sure you have a good place to take off and land. Especially if you're flying at night, make sure you check out the area during the daytime. You kind of look around and make sure you understand the surroundings. Tip number three, make sure you know how to use this thing. These drones are super complicated. They do a ton of great things, but if you don't know how to use it, if you haven't gone through all of the settings and made sure you know how to use the flight modes, make sure you know how to use return to home, make sure you know how to adjust the camera settings before you put it in the air, that's going to make your flight a whole lot better. Find a good tutorial. I happen to know a guy that's done a few. Do you have obstacle avoidance? Is obstacle avoidance on? Do you know how to turn it off? I was filming at a wedding on a boat. In order to land this thing on the boat, I had to hand catch and I had to turn the obstacle avoidance off. Make sure you know things like that and you know how to do those things quickly so you don't have to try and figure it out while this thing is in the air. That could potentially be problematic. There's lots of information available to you. Make sure you know where to find it and how to use it. Tip number four is calibrate your drone, especially if you have something like this. This is roughly $200 Holy Stone drone, MJX, SJRC. If you got a drone that is less than $500, you probably have to calibrate it before every flight. Now, not all drones require that, but make sure you're calibrating your GPS, calibrating your drone anytime you go to a new location or anytime you update your firmware. These drones here, these less expensive drones, if you don't calibrate them, sometimes you get that toilet bowl effect where they start flying in circles. They can be unpredictable. Sometimes you might have to reset or recalibrate the IMU as well. And make sure that you have enough satellites before you take off, right? After you've calibrated the drone, make sure you give it time to find the satellites, lock onto the satellites. That's going to give you a more stable drone, a better flying experience. And if you take off before you lock onto satellites and you're flying it out and it locks on mid-flight, that's your home point. So when you return to home, it's going to fly there, not where you took off. So keep that in mind. Also know the weather. You're not going to fly a drone, especially a little drone, in high wind, and even big drones. That can be problematic if you're flying in high winds. Even if they're rated for high winds, it's probably not super safe, especially if you're flying near buildings or trees or other obstacles where the wind patterns can become unpredictable, right? You fly near the building and it's smooth, and then as soon as you get out of that, the wind takes over and it's going to push your drone around. Some of the drones with propeller guards like this, or the DJI Flip or the Neo, those tend to get caught in the wind pretty easily. So just kind of note, you're not going to want to fly on heavy wind days, or obviously rain, or even snow. Water is obviously bad for things that run on electricity. Electronics and water don't mix. Don't fly in the rain. Tip number 6, don't fly too close to objects or people. When you're flying near things, sometimes it's a really cool shot, but you have to really be careful because sometimes judging distance is hard, especially if you're flying backwards or sideways. That's when most crashes happen. You don't have obstacle avoidance on the sides of all drones, or sometimes on the back of drones, and you can usually see what's in front of you, so be really careful when you're flying near objects. Also, be careful when you're flying near people. Make sure you're respecting people's privacies, but also people could get angry and do dumb things. They may throw something at your drone, or they may try to shoot out of the air. Sure, it's illegal, but don't bother people, and you don't have to go through that hassle of trying to figure out what to do next. These are my FPV goggles, but when I'm flying with these, I can't see my drone. You should be able to see your drone at all times, and if you're flying FPV, have a spotter. And if you're flying beyond your visual line of sight, know that it's kind of against the rules with the FAA, and that's because it's hard to judge your drone, again, at distances, and if you can't see it, that just makes things a little bit more difficult, obviously. Plus, what happens if you can't see your drone and you have an emergency? That is going to make things even more difficult. So keep that drone in line of sight, and if you have it out of your sight, right, you're going behind a tree or something, note where you're going to pick it back up in the sky. Okay, my next tip is don't fly too fast. I love flying FPV because I can go really quick. These things were made for speed, but that is really difficult. And even when I put my Air 3S, something like this, into sport mode, it gets a lot harder to control and to predict. You need more time to stop. Obstacle avoidance turns off when you're flying in modes like that, so you have to be really careful when you're flying fast. If you're a beginner, keep it slow, figure the controls out, and then slowly build up your speed. You're going to thank me later. Okay, tip number 9, do not ignore warnings. If you get a return to home, if you get a low battery, if you get a high wind, those are all things you need to pay attention to, because if you don't, bad things are going to happen. So those warnings exist for a reason. Figure out what they're telling you, especially, right, battery life. If you're flying in cold weather or really hot weather, that's going to drastically affect your battery life. So even if you think you have more time, you may not, and that'll end badly for you. Last thing I want to tell you is have a plan. Have an emergency plan, a contingency plan. Things are going to happen. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen. If you fly long enough, you're going to lose connection. You're going to have a flyaway. You're going to have something happen. A bird's going to attack your drone. What do you do in that situation? What do you do if you lose connection to the drone? Now, here are a few suggestions. Usually you will lose video before remote link. So meaning you can still use your remote control and control the drone even if you can't see the picture on your screen. The first thing I would suggest you do is go up, right? Raise, that'll give you sometimes a better connection. You know, if there's obstacles around, move around, walk towards the drone. That's a good way to kind of pick up the signal. If nothing else, hit that return to home so it's coming back to you. But again, know your settings. Return to home is one of those things you really got to figure out. Do you have the drone raise up and then come back? Does it have a smart return to home? All drones operate differently, so make sure you understand how that return to home works. And if you've scouted the area, you know where you're going to bring that drone down. You know, if you have to crash land it, if you know, where can you avoid people? Always have a plan before you take off and figure that out before that drone leaves the ground. You'll be able to fly safely. I hope these tips were helpful. Use them. It'll help you make you a safer pilot, a better pilot, and you're going to get those shots that you were looking for. If you're interested in becoming a certified drone pilot, if you want to make money with a drone, I have some information for you. It's available to our Patreons. There's a link in the description down below, plus some free stuff on our website as well. Hey, thanks for watching. Good luck, everyone, and happy flying.